Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're reviewing a Mercedes GLB, aka kind of a baby G-Wagon in a way. Anyways, before we get into this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Mercedes-Benz of Salt Lake for giving me some time with this GLB. I'm going to include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check what they have currently. If you have any questions or need any help, just ask for Dylan. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Powering this is a turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy with this is 24 around town and then 32 on the highway, with power outputs being 221 horsepower and then 258 pound-feet of torque. Now, before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Now, taking a look at the hood here, you guys can see those distinctive lines that pop up, and then you got the Mercedes-Benz logo in the center. And then popping down below, really cool headlight design. You can see the fog light down below that. And then I like the new grille here. It kind of reminds me of the grille on the new GLS 450, which is kind of interesting. But putting it all together, it has a boxy design, you know, somewhat similar to a G-Wagon. Not identical, but somewhat similar. Now, around the side here, our tire and wheel setup is 235, 55, 18 in the front and over in the rear. And you guys can see with the wheels, you got metallic gray here. And I love the fender flare, how it's pretty chunky. You can see that bodywork continues alongside, and you got the chrome trim. Same thing around the windows as well. And then here is the full side view with the GLB. Now, taking a look at the key fob, you guys can see the lock and unlock function. We also have the opening for the hatch as well as the Mercedes logo. And then popping into the rear, you guys can see we've got a cargo cover built in from the factory. And I like the little stitching on it. That's kind of cool. But yeah, this is a small SUV, but it has quite a bit of storage space, especially vertical space because of that boxy design. When you're all done, just press this button and that will lower the hatch right back down. And then here's a quick look at the taillights. You guys can see the rest of the badging here. And then we've got some parking sensors at the bottom. And putting it all together, what do you guys think about the design of the GLB? But I think it's a really cool little boxy SUV. Now, taking a look at the door panel, you can see the stitching here, and then also with the padding and everything down below. And then look at the handle, that's pretty fancy looking. Same thing with that trim piece. And then here are the seats, soft touch all over. And then legroom here in the back's good. We also have a little storage net. We've got some vents here in the back, USBs, all of that. And also have a cup holder armrest set up here, which is nice. And then headroom back here, it's good. And looks like we have our own sunroof in the back. I don't know if that's popping up on camera very well. Now, taking a look at the front door panel again, you guys can see the soft touch and the stitching and down below. Got all of our seat adjustments here, and I like the little Mercedes-Benz logos. Memory seat function, heated seat function. You can see the mirrors there. They do have blind spot monitoring, and then we've got all of our window controls here, mirror adjustments as well. And then taking a look at the seat, again, you've got all the soft touch trim, and then we do have our lumbar support with it. All of our light controls right here, you can see the parking brake, and then look at the vent. I think that's a really nice finish. Now, taking a look at the steering wheel, you guys can see soft touch all around. We also have paddle shifters here in the back for that 8-speed. We've got some controls here for the infotainment system, controls there for the center stack, cruise control, volume controls, all of the normal practical stuff. And then we have our turn signal windshield wiper stock, and then our column shifter in normal Mercedes fashion. Now, taking a look at the gauge cluster itself, notice you can change the theme with it, which I think is a cool part of it. But super customizable, almost like doubles as a secondary infotainment system in a way. And then as for the infotainment system, you guys can see here, we've got the backup camera trajectory lines turn with the steering wheel, and we got old Papa G-Wagon there in the background. And then as for the infotainment system itself, response time's great. Again, you've got the little control on the steering wheel, or you can swipe with the screen, whichever one you prefer. And then notice soft touch all over the dash, which is nice. And then again, you got like the Mercedes-Benz stars with the ambient lighting, and then nice trim down below that. Now we have analog controls here for the climate just down below, and then you guys can see the little storage here, some charging ports, cup holders, and then you get your dynamic mode button right there, and then volume control. That's sport mode basically for the camera setup, and then some storage. I like the ambient lighting here, it's nice. Good storage in the center console, got some USBs inside. Nice padding here on the top, and then with the glove box, yeah, pretty solid. And then we do have a control here for the sunshade for the sunroof itself. Now here's a quick look at the window sticker for this GLB 250. You guys can see the standard equipment here. Base MSRP $46,650. After all options, $50,645 is the total MSRP on the mini G-Wagon. Let's see how it drives. Let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's visibility of the hood, both the mirrors, do a blind spot monitoring, and through the rest of the rear, and let us set off. This is completely unrelated to this video, but I don't think I'm going to be reviewing a base model G-Wagon for quite some time. So I want to mention this video because I'm calling this the baby G-Wagon. Apparently the G550 is no longer going to have a V8 after 2024. Like, this is the last year to get a V8 G550. Sounds like the 63 will still have the twin turbo V8, but the 550s will apparently go for an inline 6, and then there's also going to be an inline 6 hybrid powertrain available as well. So yeah, just thought I'd mention that. I doubt anyone watching this video is going to be in the market for a G-Wagon, but you know what? If you happen to be, it's now or never. Anyways, GLB, seats are really comfortable, so I think that's a big plus. I like what Mercedes does with kind of the overall, seat ergonomics. And actually getting up and moving, even though this has a boxy design, it drives very sporty. It's, smaller, lightweight, so it has that kind of small, lightweight feel about it, which I really appreciate. I think it's quite a bit of fun, if you ask me. And something else that I think is really cool about the GLB is it's just so spacious. Like, I've reviewed a few Mini Coopers this year, and they're they're tiny cars, but then they feel like so expansive inside. And this kind of has a similar feel. Now, this is definitely bigger than a Mini Cooper, but it has that similar kind of feel as what you get in a Mini Cooper, where it's small on the outside, but then it feels very expansive inside. So we gotta love boxy designs. I think boxy is the best way to go. But anyways, oh, so it's not just for so this has multiple drive modes. Comfort, I didn't know that. I thought the dynamic was just for the dynamic mode. That's interesting that they call it dynamic instead of I don't know. Whatever. Mercedes can do whatever they want. Who am I to judge? Who am I to judge? But we are now in, sport mode. This engine's got good torque. Mercedes I feel like they always underrate their engines. It's just it's not just Mercedes too. Audi and BMW also seem to kind of do the same thing. It's the German thing to do. To be like, yeah, it only has this much power, and then it actually has like 50 more horsepower, 100 more horsepower. They're like, oh, we kind of did a little bit of the math wrong. It's quick. It's I mean, for a turbo 4-cylinder, this thing's got some power. It's actually pretty impressive for what it is. So, to sum things up here with the GLB, funny enough, I always review this and the GLA every year, and the reviews don't typically get a ton of views. It seems like people are more interested in the AMG Mercedes, but I suspect that there might be more people interested in this in the future, because there's a lot of people that want, the Mercedes interior with the design, but one thing that's a little bit more economical with the pricing, but also with the fuel economy as well. Because don't get me wrong, AMGs are epic. But, like, okay, again, if we go back to the G-Wagon side of things, I mean, with a G-Wagon, you're going to be averaging like, maybe 15, 16 miles per gallon. Whereas with this, you're going to be averaging, mid to high 20s, depending on your driving and all of that. And so, yeah, a lot more economical on that front. Let me know what you guys think about the GLB 250, and let me know if you would consider this, I guess, what I'm titling the video, a mini G-Wagon.